cocktailers. Welcome to Cocktails and Gossip, the podcast where we drink cocktails, but you better believe we're going to spill the tea. We chat reality TV, celebrity blinds, and all of the hottest scoop from BravoCocktails.com. And as always, it's all alleged and just for fun. We do not verify our blinds. I'm B.
And I'm Amanda. Let's get into this week's tea. Up, cocktailers. I hope you all had a very happy holiday, a very happy new year. Here we are. It's 2023. Lots of exciting stuff to look forward to this year. Hey, cocktailers. So B and I are both coming to you from trips. So if our sound is sounding a little crazy, that's just because we're not in our usual recording studio closets. We're in our mobile recording studios, which is my hotel room bed. And also, I feel fine, guys, but I'm so sorry. I have a little bit of just an annoying cold that luckily has not turned into the full-blown man flu. Nobody in the family it has, because that can be a big epidemic, but it's
even
really
asked Amanda, picture it. 30 plus people in my house, Christmas Day.
Yeah.
And I'm very fortunate that my husband is teammate and a partner and we do it together. I'm not I am not the one running the whole show by any means. If anything, I'm more of the entertainer. And he's more of obviously the food's already cooked, but get the meat cut, do all that kind of stuff. An hour into we wake up early, Santa Claus, go about our day. Of course, somebody is vacuuming right outside. I'm in my condo building. I'm in the library because, of course, my Wi-Fi isn't working great. There's also 5 children in my condo right now because we have cousins over. So if people interrupt, guys, I do apologize, but I don't own the whole building. Not yet, anyway. So there I am. And we wake up early and we're all going. And we were both tired. I mean, we had Christmas Eve the night before. We obviously were having some wine there. I get a text an hour into it. I'm in bed. I really don't feel good. Something's off with my stomach. Yeah. So thankfully, my mother-in-law, my sister-in-law, we all pitched in and we got it done. And I was like, listen, we're getting on a flight tomorrow, mask up. And he was okay, but he's been a little off. But to your point, nobody else caught it. Just so far, it's just been him. And I feel like it's enough days now.
Yeah, good. Especially because you're on a trip. You want to be out having a good time.
Right. He's my DD, which is nice, but
I'm not testing that stomach out. The place where I am, there's just so we don't have to walk anywhere or we don't have to drive anywhere. But there's a lot of stairs. And so I'm God, I need a designated walker after I've had a
oh my gosh, that makes me nervous.
No, I'm fine. It's just there's a lot of stairs everywhere, and it's fine. Nobody has been injured. The worst situation is just this annoying cold cough thing. Okay, so on what's usually a slow week, we have been getting a lot of information. I guess this has been happening for a while now, but it's starting to become, it seems, a little bit more solid in terms of the cast for Ultimate Girls Trip. So we heard Alex McCord and we heard Camille.
So my source who has been, they've just been saying to me, there's been a lot of starts and stops, and separate sources have told me that. But changes, I guess they really don't want it to leak, all this kind of stuff. My source said to me, first, he told me the 2 names, but he only let me leak one a day. First was Alex McCord. Come on. The thing about it for me is, can we have her without Simon? It almost doesn't feel right. And I'll be honest, I was
is Simon coming?
I haven't heard that he is, and it's only women, but that never stopped him before. All things are possible where the Van Campens are concerned. I feel like we want an update of their life. And obviously that wouldn't need to be a season, but can't they go to Australia where they now live and film an episode and where are they now?
Agreed. I really want to see, and their kids I think are grown, and I want to see if they still have that same interesting dynamic between the two of them. I don't even know how to put my finger on what I think is so interesting. They're just the way that he would always want to dress her, and that she is like such a smart woman but didn't mind playing Barbie doll for just such an interesting vibe. But I'm really excited to see her because she's so the straight person. She doesn't have she's not really a funny one. She's not like the mean one. She's generally the voice of reason. So it'll be interesting to just see her again on our screens.
I can't say that I like them because that's not the right word, but they were interesting. And then the other person is Camille, which to me makes total sense. Camille's always in the mix.
Yeah.
She's done appearances throughout the years on the show. Heaven knows she tweets about the show all day long. Why don't you read the email that we got and then we'll go over it.
Okay. All right. Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip 4 is filming in late January in Morocco with the Ex-Wives Club again, but with 4 new people in the mix. Vicky, Phaedra, Eva, Brandi are back, but Gretchen, Camille, Jacqueline, and Caroline, right? Manzo are joining them. No mention of Alex. We've heard Caroline and the what's that?
No, so that's that part of the email. So I
sorry.
wrote that. I'm sorry. I wrote in that this specific email that we got does not mention Alex. So,
yes,
but it did say another face. So that could be Alex. We've heard Caroline for this trip. And then we know that Jacqueline's name was being floated, but we didn't know if she'd be on this trip or a next trip. So the Alex part to me, is she that name that's not confirmed? Again, I keep saying there have been a lot of starts and stops. Guys, we have received a lot of, my source has given me names and been like, don't put this out there yet because contracts aren't signed.
yeah.
However, the latest that I got is, I'm going into my screenshots. This is what I've got. Vicky and Gretchen, OC. Phaedra and Eva, Atlanta. Brandi and Camille, Beverly Hills. Carolyn and Jacqueline, New Jersey. We're hearing someone else is in the mix. So to me, that means Alex McCord. All I could say is, let's see.
And then maybe somebody else from New York to match up with Alex.
Could you imagine if they do like a Ramona?
Oh my gosh.
Jill would make sense because Jill was in the last one.
Didn't Ramona win on the first one, didn't she? She did.
She did.
With
She did.
Luann.
Jill was in the Ex-Wives, and technically Ramona is now an ex-wife.
They don't.
Her and
Alex and Ramona hate each other.
Yes. And Alex and Jill hate each other too. I was rewatching like the first couple seasons of Roni not long ago. So I would take either. I think I'd take either. It would be funny. I know people are like anti-Ramona, which I get. I'm not pro-Ramona. But in a short thing, come on. But then this is very interesting. So we also got another email, okay? And we're the only ones I've seen so far with this. I've seen people repost the cast that we posted, which that's all good. It'd be nice to cite, but that's okay. We always try to cite. Ultimate Girls Trip now has its own official spinoff, Ex-Wives Club. So they're saying that the Ex-Wives Club will be produced separately and apart from Ultimate Girls Trip, which will have different casting themes going forward, such as frenemies. Basically, all the names we've been hearing for Ultimate Girl Trip 4, my thoughts are the names we've been hearing for their current housewives are going to be for the girls trip, and the names we just said are going to be for the Ex-Wives trip, and they could be filming simultaneously. I'm hearing Morocco for Ex-Wives Club. And I freaking forget what the other one was. So whatever.
And everything starts to make more sense too, right? Because we've been getting so much information about this, and we're like, either this is planning for like multiple shows out, because we kept getting like the frenemies theme, and what was the one that we just thought was hilarious? I'm trying to remember what that one was.
The 7 Deadly Sins.
7 Deadly Sins.
Remember, I'm the sloth.
So maybe that wasn't so far-fetched. Maybe it's going to happen. I don't know. I think it's going to be super fun. I love watching the show. I think that it's a smart formula for Bravo / Peacock to do this, because they can get people to come and do a couple weeks. It's if they're going to have somebody come and go film a movie on set, on a remote set. It's the same kind of thing where they're just there, but it's not having to commit to being filmed for 6-8 months at a time. So I think it makes sense. And I think it's been really fun to watch them. And I think Bravo has picked up on the fact that we miss these people and we want to see what's happening with them and we want to see more of them on our screen. So like that nostalgia factor mixed up into a little bit of a new format that it
totally works. And I see them separating current and ex-wives because let's face it, most of the ex-wives, not all, but many, are a little bitter. So mixing them with current wives isn't the best idea. There's a power differential. With the current wives, maybe they would act superior. It would bring natural drama, but I just think ex-wives and separating them is smart. It's also interesting, the show Traitor, which we know has Kate Chastain, who's no longer on a show. Reza, who we're hoping their show gets greenlit, but no word on that yet. And then we have Kyle, who's on Summer House, or at least he was this past season. And then who was the fourth one? Reza, Kyle, Brandi. So now they put all these other people in the mix, which, by the way, Ryan Lochte, the Olympian. So this is so random. So one of my followers knows him, and no, she knows. So Traitor is basically like a challenge type show. There's only 4 Bravo stars, which we just named. And then there's a bunch of just random people. One of the random people is Ryan Lochte. I don't know if they know, hey, by the way, I'm an Olympian, or they're just throw him in the mix and people are going to be like, wait, is that Olympian swimmer? I imagine they're going to note that. And then it also makes me wonder, are there more people like that? Like maybe not as well known as Ryan Lochte, but I don't know, athletic people, maybe people in the fitness world, or influencers we might So it's interesting. They're really taking their talent and just doing all these spinoffs. It's not just Housewives anymore. Now it becomes challenge, which, I mean, a lot of us sites have always said, why don't we have a challenge?
I love it. Okay. One of the funniest things that I saw on Instagram this week. So something fun for everybody to giggle about. We've been talking about how Jen Shah got a lot of her stuff taken away and a lot of it turned out to be fake, which turned into a conversation about there's actually good fakes and then not good fakes. So this week, the account at The Real Bad Fashions, who posts stuff about showing out when the housewives, usually housewives, but not always, are wearing fake stuff. I remember they had posted, this would have been a couple years ago with Teresa with the bad fake Chanel shirt. It was a white shirt with the black C's and the C's were just wonky and off. And then it also shows the real thing next to the housewife zoomed in next to a fake thing. So this week they posted pictures of Teresa, her daughters. They were gifted Cartier bracelets, and I'm going to say Cartier in quote unquote Cartier bracelets. The Justin Clou, looks like a nail that is turned around. Each girl was given one by Louis. And if you follow these types of things, you would know that each of those bracelets are $12,500 because he got them the ones with the diamonds on them. So in his post, the post shows the box and it shows the piece of jewelry from, I think it's Gia is holding hers. And she had posted it, and so it shows what she's holding next to a official Cartier box, and you can look at them and you can make up your mind about whether those are the same.
Yeah. So you're talking $50,000 roughly in bracelets if they're real. Of course, I get a DM from one of the exes who said I could share that Louis gave her son a fake Rolex and let him think it was real. When they split up, her son took it to the jeweler and found out it was a knockoff. Now, I'm not an expert, but people in the know are posting the specs, like our friends at The Real Bad Fashions, and showing why. And then there's a lot of TikToks. Again, I'm not the most TikTok savvy, but my followers always send me the stuff. And my friend at Chrissy Balls, she did a video and it's, like we said, it's giggle worthy. I will say I do know in Manhattan, in the Diamond District, you can go in and a Cartier bracelet is a gold bracelet, right? The same as Tiffany's. The brand makes it more expensive. I know that the jeweler that my husband and I use makes dupes of the Cartier bracelets, and they're still expensive because it's gold. If the bracelet is real gold, and if it's real diamond, it's obviously going to cost what a gold bracelet costs minus the markup. Now, we don't know if these are real gold. But my thing is, it's weird to post this publicly. Sure, it's a nice gesture, but if my parent gets me a piece of jewelry, I don't take a picture of it and put it on my Instagram. They're young girls, so maybe it's different. But why does everyone need to know what he got them? And like last we heard, he was out of work. He said he was fired from his company. He still isn't working. So there's a public SEC filing against his company. We've discussed that, similar to Jen Shah's fraud case. I don't see the upside of posting. If you are able to afford it, that's great, but keep it to yourself.
Yeah. What is it? Money talks, wealth whispers.
Yeah.
And okay, here I have a question, and I don't know, I'm going to ask you, but I don't know if you know the answer to this either. But as we're talking about this, it occurred to me, is it illegal to have something like that? Because I know it's illegal, obviously, if you are doing a counterfeit good, it is, I know it's obviously illegal to sell them, but is it illegal to be in possession of them?
That's a good question. I don't believe, maybe it is, but what's really going to happen to you if someone gifts you something? And also, what if you think it's real?
Right.
If that style bracelet is trademarked, which I'm going to go ahead and assume it is, then I'm sure, and again, good question, like in the Diamond District, they probably don't have them out on display. And I don't even remember. I feel like they did. Because my husband even said to me, showed it to me. And I'm a person, I love gold, don't get me wrong, but I don't want to, I'm not going to buy, even if it's real gold, like I'd rather just get a gold bracelet. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to have, I don't know, because I know. Oh, but I have to ask you this, Amanda, this is another thing while we're on the topic of them. So Teresa claims she's watching New Jersey for the first time. Now, I was considering this and I said to myself, maybe that's why she always looked like dumbfounded and unprepared at reunions, because if you haven't watched it and you've only seen a clip here or there and you're watching things for the first time, you're like, okay, number one, we know that when they did those blogs, that was ghostwritten. We saw Laura Manzo point that out with the napalm pellet, even know what that means. Fine, a lot of them ghostwritten. But like, this is your job. Not watching the show is not a flex to brag about, like you're too busy for it. Like, it actually makes you look like you're not doing your job.
You need to know about the shit that went down when you were in the room. Unless she is so self-centered that she's like, nothing good happens unless I'm in the room, so I don't need to watch it. What is that?
Then somewhere else, somebody said that she only posted scenes that she was in, or she not posted, excuse me. She only watched scenes she was in, which to your point. But this is, especially because it's a contentious show, I think she said the reason she didn't watch was because she wanted to keep the peace between her brother and Melissa. And maybe for a period of time that was true. But what about when you weren't getting along? Why didn't you watch then? Wouldn't you want to know what Jacqueline or Carolyn or anybody that was saying about you so that you can be prepared at a reunion?
And was Teresa, now that I'm thinking about this, was Teresa in the room when Caroline pulls out the Cop Without a Badge book? I feel like,
yeah, that was right before she flipped the table.
But I'm trying to remember if Teresa was in the room. You know what I mean? Like, again, I don't know. That seems so strange to me. I don't know that I believe it. That she really didn't.
I don't know that I believe it either.
Although if she didn't, then that is not you're right. It does make a lot of things make a little bit more sense that she just comes off so unprepared. I guess we'll put it that way. At these
do not.
I
texted you that and you asked me if I was stoned.
I was like, yeah.
I'm like, I told Amanda, I'm like, I'm a little stoned. She's wait, stoned? I'm like,
you're stoned?
And that is like an Italian slang. It's not even real Italian. It's like Italian American slang for stupid.
I had never heard that, so I thought, I was like, good for you. Stoned.
Guys, let me know. Is that a regional, like New York, New Jersey thing, or do people in other places say stu not?
I like it though. I'm going to use it.
Definitely. Your friends will be like, wait, what?
Okay, so speaking of Jen, we heard that and I think we talked about this, but she requested 36 months for her sentencing. but the government is calling for 10 years.
The second this went public, someone sent me it before it was posted anywhere. It was public record, but literally, I don't know how these cocktailers do it. Literally, like TMZ, nobody had posted it. They sent it to me, and I, of course, made a post. I never know if stuff is like if it's going to go, whatever. And then within 15 minutes of me posting it, people obviously were posting the public document, but the government is calling for 10 years. I'm not surprised. They also cite her behavior post-arrest as a big factor, which duh. And then there were letters released from the victims about how they were suicidal. There were text messages released that Jen sent. I just saw it today. No Filter by Zach. Posts a lot of good stuff. He posted some text messages of her telling Stu and other employees, see if she's really sick. In other words, is she still able to give us money or is she dead? Okay, scary. Also, they were trying to do offshore in Greece, and I want to say Kosovo. So, because it would limit the risk if it was offshore. So she worded it so we can do this for the long haul. So she was planning on retiring doing this.
Wow. So did they say I have seen a couple of little bits and pieces. Obviously it's the holidays, so it's been a busier time. So I haven't gotten and sat down and read through all the documents like I plan to soon. But when they were saying they were citing the behavior, were they specific about it? Did they say it's because of the partying, because of the
they said
filming?
Yes, they said a result of her actions on the reality show she's on, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, partying, all these things. Yes. Her public behavior, her public persona, things she said on television. Yes, absolutely.
That does not surprise me. I feel like if you pled guilty and then you have such a large gap between when you pled and then when you get sentenced, you have to be as model citizen as possible, because only a dumbass would think that your behavior wouldn't be looked at. And get out there and volunteer and be working at soup kitchens and doing all that kind of stuff. It's gonna give a much better impression of you versus an I don't give a fuck attitude that she clearly has had. And it might cost her those partying and all that kind of stuff that could cost her a few years in jail.
And it goes back to her delusion. Her extreme delusion.
Crazy. Well, what about how about all this talk about Paris Hilton this week?
So I reached out to my source because this guy's in the know, especially where Hollywood's concerned. He was hysterically laughing. He's B. Not only would they never, meaning her or Nikki, they don't want their mom on the show. They never understood why she went on to begin with. They really want her to stop. They think it's a bad look. So it's a no-go. Absolutely not happening. I don't know where this came from. Thin air.
She did say she's got big news, and I think she said she's going to announce it today. Today is the 30th that we're recording on. So it could be, I don't know. I think we'll hear about it in a minute, but it could be that she's pregnant. It could be she's got a new show,
a partnership, a new brand.
Right. But she's got us all talking about her.
There we go.
She's good at that.
I would love for her to go on.
I would too. I think she would be interesting. I thought
why would she
be interesting too. I don't see it being the top of her list. Why would she go? And I think she'd want the show to be about her and not come into an ensemble cast like that. And then Brandi holding the diamond this week, which is, I thought, a great, fun little teaser because, of course, the Housewives of Beverly Hills hold diamonds.
And a couple weeks ago, our source told us she's absolutely negotiating. A separate source told me it's out of the question for her to be full-time. I'm not exactly sure why, but he said the execs and the people he knows that work at Bravo laugh at that. He said that doesn't mean that they wouldn't bring her in as a friend, cameos. Clearly, she was on a Housewife. She's going to be on another one. So the network utilizes her, but he says that we should not expect to see her full-time. I want her back. I think she's perfect. We assuming Ren is back, and I think that Brandi going for Renna would be a beautiful thing.
Yeah. There's something just very endearing about her to me. I just hope that she can, because I think she's plenty messy even without drinking. So maybe we can kind of have the mess, but I like, my heart goes out to her when I see her kind of get out of control and lose control of herself. Like, that stuff I don't love.
Like,
And then,
recently she came out. Did we discuss this? She came out and talked about her ex-husband cheating. Did we talk about this?
yes,
Forget it.
I don't know. Did we talk about it?
I don't
I don't
know, but
remember.
like, the whole point is she made amends with her ex and his new wife. Why are you bringing up an affair for when you guys are together? There are a lot of rumors that he cheats on Leanne. I don't know any of them to be true. I'm just saying there are rumors. So just leave well enough alone. You're invited to Thanksgiving and Christmas. You can be with your sons. Things are copacetic. You're friendly with Leanne now. Let sleeping dogs lie.
I know, seriously. So, New York reboot scoop. We know that Lizzie left or was fired. So there's been a new cast member. Her name is Priya Shulka. We actually spoke about her over the summer. And she is a Vera Wang executive. And what's cool about her, and what we were liking about it when we were talking about her over the summer, is she seems to be already friends with many of the cast members, seems to be pretty well known and connected in the fashion world. And she had been either test filming or doing some kind of filming, and was shortlisted to be a full-time housewife. So we're hearing that she will likely be a friend of, but could get promoted to full-time if she is received. She's adorable. So I'm looking forward to getting to know her as well. So we'll see.
And again, like, she's friends with the cast. Yes, please, and thank you. What we want, I remember season 1 of Roni, Jill Zarin said, I run with a fabulous circle of women. And they did. They all knew each other. They were all connected through their children's schools, charities, their husband. Like, they all knew, with the exception of Alex. And again, that was okay because she was like the odd duck out of a group of friends, and she was trying to social climb, which they pointed out. You can have one, you know what I'm saying? Even two, but there has to be a core connection, or even like a core connection, and then 2 people who are trying to get to know the rest of the cast. Speaking of Jill, I'm seeing on social media, she bought this new house in Miami. Don't know if she sold her beautiful house in Boca, but it looks sick, millions of dollars. She just built another mansion out east. She is rich. I was talking to somebody who, a lot of South Florida people are also New York people, because a lot of us retire here or we have second properties here. And like, apparently she will take people on that for a living do things like work with brands or work with partnership. That's their job. But she will have them get her into events or that kind of stuff, promote things. But then it's almost like working with her is the payment, which, yeah. And I'm sure this is not unique to her. I've heard Ramona, I've heard a lot of housewives that do this. Teresa, this kind of thing, because you're OG. But the reality of it is, especially when you're a wealthy person, these are people. Yes, on the one hand, Sonia Morgan does it. She did it with my friend. Remember when we set up her whole house, which is why we hung out. But why we hung out in her townhouse? Cocktailers know what I'm talking about. Well, I don't know. It bothers me. Yes, I understand a friend and family discount or something like that. But you're a wealthy woman. You own 3 mansions that we know of. Plus, I'm sure a huge apartment in Manhattan. Hey, people.
2 things on this. I think, one, when you go into a working relationship, you've got to have clear terms. So that to me is just interesting that these people would be so wanting to work with her without nailing down terms. If any of this stuff, obviously it's all alleged, but if something about that were to be true. But then also, I just feel like you got to take care of the people who take care of you. Like, that's, if this is true, that really bums me out, because the people who are making you look good, helping you get brand partnerships or publicity, things like that, like they deserve to be paid. There's a saying about plumbers or anybody, why it's so expensive. And it's true, right? It's the wisdom that you're paying for. It's the expertise that you're paying for. And that bums me out. But they should also charge, and they should also be clear and say, if you want me to do this for you, then I will charge you X dollars or X percentage. So anyway,
Absolutely.
I can see both sides of that. Just for you cocktailers.
Yeah, if you're on the come up, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that there's also a hope that, it's good to work with this person. But I also think there's an assumption when you're working with a wealthy person that you're going to get paid. If I hire somebody, right? I'm a normal person. They don't know if I have means or not. They're going to make sure that contract's clear because they don't know if I have it. I'm like Jill Zarin. We're guessing she has money. We know she had money. We know she owns serious properties. We know she owns these businesses. Like, we know she does well. So I don't know. It's almost like maybe they feel insulted. Like they don't want to insult her. Again, I agree with you. You absolutely should have clear terms and advice to everybody. Like, never assume.
Right. Never assume and know your worth. Absolutely. Okay. So we got an email with some info about OC, and this was a big shocker for me. I'm going to read it.
Sure. Okay. It says the new Real Housewives of Orange County has those in the know concerned it'll be the last. Amra is not coming across as genuine and trying too hard to create drama. Heather is selective on the storyline she participated in, then in parentheses, a much heavier rainbow family focus for the DeBros. I take that to mean that she's focusing on her kids, and we know that some of them have come out as bisexual. So Shannon is just there for the money and she can't fake it. Vicky's return in the second half of the season may act as a bookend for the entire series. The series may even move to Peacock or air simultaneously to allow a fast burn of the episodes, with the reunion to be more of a retrospective special with cast members from the past. If it defies expectations and does get another season, expect a break between filming.
I am like, what do you think? Do you believe it?
This is an email. I do think that this is an option for them if it doesn't perform. I think that they are thinking if they bring it out and it's not getting the viewer, they'll probably maybe put more episodes out or something like that or whatever it is. But I do see them, if the numbers are low, doing the reunion, have Gina come, have some of there's so many, Gretchen, Alexis, close it out, maybe do a couple episodes, give it its due, right? Because it's
oh my gosh,
original. But are they going to keep trying to make something work? If this flops, you're now on your like third or even fourth season of a downward spiral.
I just like it. I hate that this does sound believable because that is how they would end it, right? Like that would be a good way to do it, is by doing this retrospective, having all the old previous housewives come. But I just hope it's not true. And the thing that I don't know, I believe, is the part about Tamra not seeming genuine. Unless she just doesn't have a real connection with the other ladies, because I love Tamra because she does not have a fake bone in her body. I think if she's quote unquote not coming off as genuine, I think maybe it's because she's just not feeling it with that group. Yes, I just came out of the closet as a Tamra stan, but
I love Tamra. I love her too. And I don't know if I posted this yet, but I got an email yesterday. I think I posted it. If not, it's in draft. So I posted this week an email about a West Coast show. The email said something about Seattle, but it looked like it was somebody's name too. So I took it out because I wasn't sure what I should share. And we know we've been hearing about New Orleans, which, by the way, cocktailers say you say it correct. I say it wrong.
Oh, I thought somebody also said you can say it either way.
Yeah, but I think they were trying to be nice to me.
Oh,
okay. So this might be news to you if you haven't checked your email, because we just got this. So it says Housewives Contest. And this is what makes me believe the OC thing is true. Because if this isn't a go, they scrap it and they're just going to add a new city. Word on the street is Nola and Seattle are competing for a 2024 release on Bravo. Seattle is looking for 6 women, maybe 5. One of them is rumored to be the ex-wife of a famous billionaire and a Native American lifestyle influencer is in the talks. Cocktailers, tell us who those people are. I'm not that familiar with Seattle. NOLA is casting around Tamira Lee from Southern Charm NOLA. So, if the OC thing is true, they have their West Coast cities ready to roll.
I think that I could see it. I love New Orleans, and Seattle is absolutely gorgeous. We know there's all of that.
I just know there's a lot of
tech.
rain. Oh, and the first email said something about they're filming and they had to stop filming because of weather. And I didn't put the email in, which said Seattle. And then a couple of comments on the site were like, it must be Seattle because they've had bad weather or something.
It makes sense. And could see there being like a really cool, powerful women in tech angle there because there is so much tech there. And if you haven't been to Seattle, it is stunningly gorgeous. The real estate, I can already see it, is gorgeous. There's water everywhere. I would be all for it. I think that would be a really fun one, honestly.
All right.
Let's see. We'll see.
I would like it.
We'll see. And just like 2022, it seems Luke and Ashley's fling has ended.
I mean, I heard a while ago it was a stunt.
Yeah.
Which I figured it was for clout for both of them. Why not? Let's both get tons of attention on social media. Good for each of them. I do think they were really hooking up. I don't think that they lied about hooking up. They're both hot. They're both single. But what I'm hearing is that it was more of a planned PR stunt to try to get him back on TV. Again, this is an allegation. I don't know this to be true, but the person is saying the same production company that owns Summer and Winter House also owns Potomac. No, he's not on either show anymore. We're going to see him. I think he popped up this summer, but he hasn't been renewed by Bravo. And there's some rumors surrounding that. I don't know the truth of any of it. My thing is, while she may have not cared initially that, yeah, we're both Bravo stars, we're both getting attention. If she found out that it really was a planned thing, like if someone in production was like, Luke heard you said he was cute on Watch What Happens Live and he teamed with production, like that would be very different than her just assuming that he likes the attention.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we're ever going to find out if she's going to come out and say something, if she'll just say, oh, it fizzled. We weren't into the long distance thing. But
I don't think she was probably ever looking at him as a real option anyway. I'm sure that she was like, fun fling. I hope she boned the crap out of him.
Right.
Like, a single guy, lives in either New York or Minnesota or wherever he lives, not in DC. I wouldn't ever have considered him a serious option for her because I think she's a smart person. And I think that she'll be looking for somebody who is successful, who can hold their own with her, who's old enough to handle having
more
kids.
established. Obviously,
Right.
Luke is still building his career and his brand and whatever. And I think that if history were to repeat itself, she's going to want somebody with a more established thing going on.
Yeah.
But there's, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say with Summer House stuff too, it's interesting because things seem to be changing a little bit with all of that, with the dynamics, right? You said something earlier that I thought was interesting. You said Kyle Cook, when we were talking about the other reality show, Kyle, if he's on again next summer, I was going to ask you about that because the dynamics seem to be shifting. And Lindsay, we know Lindsay had that fight with Amanda and they've seemed to have fallen out because of the comment that Amanda made on Watch What Happens Live. And if Luke isn't around because he doesn't have it, like who's Lindsay's person other than Carl?
So listen, there's a lot of bad blood between the Summer House cast and Lindsay. That's a secret to nobody. The Danielle beef runs deep, according to sources that I was talking with this week. I'm curious to see the edit that she gets, because what I'm hearing is that Lindsay is actually mean in some moments to Danielle, to the point of Danielle going to talk to her about their distance and their fight, and Lindsay just being like, get a life, like, whatever. It seems very cold. I'm sure there are two sides. I want to keep that in mind. But they were a pair, and Danielle wasn't friends with Paige or Ciara or Maya. But now all three of them, who arguably were closer with Lindsay, right? They, whatever, are all team Danielle. So they all picked her side. I just don't see how Lindsay fits in going forward because Amanda was her one link, right? She was the one mutual. And now with the Watch What Happens Live comment, they're not speaking.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't know, but we did break a story. So, and I don't know how many cocktailers know who this is. Okay, so we know Maya's ex, Kwame, who was from Top Chef. We know Maya is broken up with Oliver. We know Maya was at Kwame. He just opened a restaurant in Lincoln Center called Tatiana's. We know he was with her at BravoCon. We're assuming it's just his friends. Get him in my inbox that a woman named, her account name is Elizabeth Alfson, is pregnant with Kwame, Maya's ex-fiance's baby. So I look at this woman's page. It says best-selling author. I'm looking at her. I'm like, this woman looks so much like Corinne Steffens. Corinne Steffens, who had a somewhat vulgar nickname. I actually took it off the post because it was pointed out by a couple of followers that it's Superhead, which was like given to her by men and it's derogatory, all that. I took it off.
Yeah. Okay.
So the long and short of it is, this woman, and she says she's 44 years old now, which to me, I would think she was older because I was quite young when this was all happening. But in any event, whatever her age may be, she wrote Confessions of a Video Vixen and a few other books. They're bestsellers. She was married to Cool G Rap briefly when she was like 17. And then she was in all the music videos, all the rap videos. She hooked up with every rapper from Jay-Z to Ja Rule, who was very big at the time. Mystical, the list goes on. So many. So apparently he's having a baby with her. She's a pretty controversial figure. If you guys aren't familiar, a quick Google search will show you. I personally love hip hop. I remember the whole situation with her, the videos. I certainly remember her book. I read her first book. I don't remember if I read the others, but they're best selling. Now her Instagram name is now Elizabeth Alfson. Is her legal name Corinne Steffens? Did she change it, or was Corinne Steffens her stage name? Honestly, I don't know. But the books she wrote she really spun it. So she was this controversial figure that the hip hop men presented as a video hoe, right? She spun it. She wrote these best-selling books, which basically were for young women, warning them about the pitfalls and risks of hanging out in the hip hop world, in the music world, in entertainment. So to me, it's like very admirable that she took something that people were trying to make a negative and make her like, quote unquote, the video hoe. And yet she became a best-selling author and very successful. But again, she's controversial for a number of reasons. You can Google it. I'm just wondering how Maya, who is clearly still friendly with her ex-fiance, is wrapping her head around this.
Interesting. I want to look into her now because I didn't know who she was, but good sleuthing on your part, by the way.
Right?
Yeah,
I think so. When I'm looking at her, I was like, the thing was, I would know her right away if it said Corinne Steffens, but it said Elizabeth whatever. So I'm like, this girl looks which, by the way, she's a beautiful girl. Not that she looks like Maya, but like cute figure, petite, like that same sort of look. The faces don't look like, but like they're cute figures. So like he has a type. But I'm like, this looks just like Corinne Steffens. But again, in my mind, she was older. So just side note, he's 31, she's 44. No big deal there. Or he's 33, whatever. Both grown adults. But for me, I don't know. I thought she was older. Obviously, I was wrong or whatever.
Yeah. Interesting. We'll have to I'm going to dig into her when I have a little time. I want to read her book now.
Oh my, you should really read it. I want to reread it. And there's so many big names that I'm not even remembering. I don't know. I don't want to speak out of turn and say people that weren't, but yeah.
We should put it on the book club list.
Yeah.
That we've been talking about doing. So.
And somebody commented, and they were like, Corinne is going to read you for filth when she sees that you posted this. And I was like, she made a public Instagram post. Everything I noted is on her Wikipedia page. I am not, and being very clear, I was a fan of hers. I thought it was super cool that they were all trying to make her this thing. And she went out and wrote a series of books. And obviously a 3-time New York Times bestseller, made a ton of money. Like she had various specials. Like, I'm not insulting her. I'm just pointing out that this person who's very well known is now having a baby with a Bravo. All roads lead to freaking Bravo. A Bravo star's ex-fiance who also was on Bravo because he was on Top Chef.
Yeah. And congratulations. That's exciting because she said in her post that it sounds like she's had a hard time getting pregnant in the past. So
she has one son that she had years ago with Cool G Rap. I assume he's probably 20 now because she had him when she was in her teens.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Yep.
What do you think about Miami? I want to say, like, I loved that post that you posted about why we're loving Miami. So I thought it'd be fun to wrap with that and have you reread that. We can chat a little bit about it.
Every episode is better. And I'm going to try to summarize because I don't have the post in front of me, but it was something like Miami, you hear me? Miami isn't lit because of Lisa's divorce. We absolutely hate that for her. It's lit because of the loyalty and support from the women. These women signed up for a reality show and they give us their real lives, their real struggles. Lenny's mom fully backing Lisa. Love that. I remember in the early seasons, Amanda, do you remember that they didn't really have the tightest bond? Like Lisa wanting to be close, but the mother being closed off with her. And now you can see that was years ago, and over the years, now Lisa and Lenny have 2 children. The mom is clearly very close with Lisa. And she says to her, I don't recognize my son. This is disgusting. And Lisa's like, I'm a single mom. I'm by myself. And Marina, who's his mom, says, no, you're not. You have me. You have our family. You are my family. And I support you in 100% and the children. And again, this was filmed months ago. I have to imagine mom's still of that mindset because that's her grandchildren's mother. And she hasn't done anything wrong. She loves her son. She was good to her son. And it's refreshing to see that the mom recognizes that. Whereas I feel so many mothers would just blindly their child.
Yeah, I agree. It's been really good. I think I'm continuing to pick up, and I think I might be one episode behind because it's with Peacock and I'm not on it enough that I sometimes forget to watch it. But the thing that I've found really interesting is Adriana and Julia are so closed off to everybody else. There must have been something else that happened behind the scenes because it's really starting to feel like nobody wants to film with them or they don't want to film. It really bummed me out when you could see they weren't fighting when Lisa was talking, like when they're in the Keys and Lisa's sitting over there talking and the other girls are reacting. You can tell if somebody's fighting versus somebody is like outraged on your friend's behalf. And the fact that they're just sitting there and they're like, what's going on over there? Like I just was like, no wonder. Like, that's just bullshit behavior. Like, you go over and even if you're not as close, and you just say, what's going on? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I don't know. I was bummed out to see that.
In the latest episode too, you're going to see that Adriana's filming a music video. I know, I didn't know she was a singer either. And the only girl who shows up because she wants them all in the video, and I think they all ultimately go to the video, but she wanted them to learn choreography. The only one who showed up was Kiki. Yeah, it's weird. And Gertie in the newest episode talks about the divide. She's like, how come like we're not equal? If Alexia has the microphone, everybody listens. But if I talk, no one listens. And I don't know what you're talking about. She's just so confusing. Yeah. I do like though that one thing I don't like is that Julia and Adriana are like such a team where you're a group of friends. You don't see Marisol like bid for Alexia. Like she lets her handle her own business. She doesn't jump in when Alexia is disagreeing. And then this episode, you're going to see Amanda, Larsa drop the bomb that her friend saw Julia making out at a club in Miami, which again, we had that email about another marriage being on the rocks. We're seeing a lot of stuff.
Was she making out with a man or a woman? What did they say?
A man.
A man. Oh,
which I think would probably be even more hurtful to Martina, but I guess we'll see.
I'm going to watch that while I'm here. It's been so good though. And I'm like, I think everyone agrees, right? It's loving Miami. I listen to some other podcasts and it seems across the board, everyone is really loving this season. So Peacock did a great job bringing it.
Absolutely. And I don't know about you, Amanda, but I'm ready to hit up the beach. So, Cocktailers, we love you guys. Again, we hope you had a very happy holiday, a very happy new year. We do have some really fun stuff planned for our subscription site. So make sure you click the link in my bio at Bravo and Cocktails _ if you would like to join. It's worth it. You're going to get a Zoom. You're going to get, and I've been getting this week, Amanda, before the holidays were a little slower. This week, I'm getting so much tea. A lot of it I'm just putting on the subscription site because enough tea to go around. And the people that are like, paying for it, and I feel they should get a little extra with them.
And you guys, we opened up the vault and because we knew that it might be a slow week. So we went through and for whatever reason, we don't always post everything we get. So we opened up the vaults and have been posting at least one of those pieces of tea every day. We're calling it like the 10 days of tea. And this will actually, we'll tell you guys this, but this will actually go past the 1st, and a couple of days we're going to do a couple of bonus days. So if you join, you can also go back and look at all of the other posts since the very first day of the membership site. You get all of that content. You get all of his old podcasts too.
Oh, yeah. If you join now, there's a ton of stuff because we've been rolling for over a month. So there's a lot of, and our extra podcasts are exclusive tea mostly, which some of it has come true. So, very interesting stuff going on over there. So it's worth checking out. If you enjoy listening, I think you'll enjoy our subscription site. And Amanda pointed out when I was like, I don't know if anyone's going to pay for this. She's B. You roll through Starbucks, you pay more than what we're charging a month, which I'm like, that's very true.
That's so true. Thank you guys. Happy New Year. Let's all cheers to an amazing 2023.
Till next time.